There are thousands and thousands of words which we use in our daily life. They are actually originated from Latin and Roman languages. But the question arises how these words amalgamated in English language. For the answer, we have to go into the time period of 500 AD to 1066 AD. Hello and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my channel, and I am Mehreen. In the series of History of English Literature, we are going to step on the first milestone, so be with me till the end of this series. There were some tribes who migrated from northern Germany to England. They brought Germanic language with them. The time period was 500 AD to 1066 AD. It was almost the period of 600 years, and they had a strong hold on England during all these years. Mainly, there were three tribes: Saxons, Angles, and Jutes. They all settled in the whole England at different places. All these three tribes, Vikings, and some Danish invaders, when they all settled in England, their culture, languages, and traditions mixed up together. A new kind of dialect came into existence during this period, which we may call Old English. First of all, we may look into the source from where we found the information about life and literature of that Anglo-Saxon period. Just keep in mind the name of Saint Bede, who was a historian and who wrote chronological history about these tribes and how did they settle in England. The name of his book is The Ecclesiastical History of English People by Venerable Bede. It was written in 731 AD. Ecclesiastical means anything which is related to the religion. Almost 30,000 lines of this book have survived and stored only in 4 manuscripts. We must keep it in mind that this was the time of Christianization of England. Earlier, they were pagan or followers of non-Christian religions. Saint Augustine came to England, and under him, the process of Christianization began. And of course, this Christianization had a very strong impact on the literature which was produced in that period. The poetry produced in that period was mostly heroic, elegies, Christian poetry, and prose. As these tribes were warriors, so they depicted their deeds and actions in oral traditional heroic poetry. The first book of heroic poetry survived is Beowulf, whose writer is still unknown. It has Christian elements in it because this oral poetry was compiled and composed by a Christian. The subject of Anglo-Saxon literature was mostly sea, battle, adventure, warship. So is of the Beowulf. The second type of poetry which was produced in that period was elegy. The most famous elegies of that period were Deor's Lament, The Wife's Lament, The Husband's Message, and The Rune. Now let's talk about the Christian poems which were also produced in that period. The historian Bede has categorized Christian poems into 2 schools: Cadmonian school and Cynewulfian school. Both these names have been kept after 2 persons' name, Cadmonian and Cynewulf. Cadmonian was an illiterate and a very simple type of person. He was a herdsman and he was also a monk. One day he woke up and he started reciting beautiful lines. People started to get inspired and impressed by these poetic lines. Besides, he worked in a monastery, so people had a kind of awe and spiritual attachment with Cadmonium. Cadamon's hymn, Exodus, and Daniel. These are the main poetic works which he did. The main feature of his poetry was simplicity. As he himself was an illiterate person, he had never been to any school. That is why his poetry was quite simple and easy to understand. On the other hand, Canwulf's poems are more sophisticated. The Christ, Juliana, the Fates of the Apostles. These are the main works of Canwulf. Now, if we talk about the prose writing, in that particular period, King Alfred and Wulfstan, these were the two main persons who did a remarkable work in this regard. King Alfred, he himself was a strong learner. He learned Latin and translated the earlier books into English. He even invited many scholars to England to promote literacy and English language. To sum up the video, today we have learned about Anglo-Saxon period, especially the modes of writing, tradition and beliefs of the people, and mostly the literature produced in the particular time. I hope this session was quite helpful for you people. Our next discussion will be of Middle English period, especially Chaucer, because Chaucer is also included in our syllabus. So till then, stay happy, stay subscribed, and thanks for being with Bahrain.